I'll start off my video by reading from the Arizona Daily Sun. After being convicted by a jury earlier this summer of sexual abuse for groping a woman in a bar, ex-DPS officer Rob Gary Evans walked out of a Coconina County Superior courtroom on Wednesday morning, having been sentenced to 2 years of probation. Evans received credit for the 4 days of jail time he served in Coconina County Jail. Prosecutors contended that he drank 8 beers and then drove himself to the green room where he flashed his badge in an attempt to get into a concert for free. While inside, he walked up behind his victim, who was a friend of a friend, put his hand up her skirt and then ran his fingers across her genitals. When bouncers threw him out, Evans told them he was a cop and they would be arrested. The 43-year-old former Arizona Department of Public Safety officer was facing between 6 months and 2.5 years in prison, but the crime was eligible for probation. He will not be required to register as a sex offender according to the sentence. Now, as if this weren't bad enough, look at the sentence he was given by the judge who sat the case, one Jackie Hatch, appointed by Republican Governor Jan Brewer. You can imagine a sort of sickening fucking shit she would say, can't you? Again, she gave him a sentence of 100 hours community service, as well as 2 years of probation. He is also not required to register as a sex offender, despite the fact that he deliberately went into the bar, flashed his badge to get in for free, subsequently walked up behind his victim, put his hand up her skirt and ran his fingers over her private parts, and then threatened the bouncers of the club who were doing their job in ejecting him from their premises with arrest, abusing his power. Well, if he's willing to abuse his power like that, then that shows that his abuse of his victim was all about power in and of itself, and that if it wasn't her that it happened to, it would have been someone else. Here's what the judge had to say to both defendant and victim in the case. Bad things can happen in bars, Hatch told the victim, adding that other people might be more intoxicated than she was. If you wouldn't have been there that night, none of this would have happened to you, Hatch said. No, it just would have happened to someone else. Hatch told the victim and the defendant that no one would be happy with the sentence she gave, but that finding an appropriate sentence was her duty. Yeah, she should have put the fucking guy in jail. I hope you look at what you've been through and try to take something positive out of it, Hatch said to the victim in court. You learned a lesson about friendship and you learned a lesson about vulnerability. Hatch said that the victim was not to blame in this case, but that all women must be vigilant against becoming victims. That's fucking lip service. When you blame others, you give up your power to change, Hatch said that her mother used to say. When I read something as fucked up as this, I really have to wonder what the fuck is wrong with the world. Only a few days ago, I saw a report on the news about a judge in my own fucking country who explicitly stated that a burglar who breaks into someone's home was being brave, because apparently it takes a lot of courage to break into the home of an innocent party who's just trying to live their lives so that you can steal their shit and sell it for cash in order that you can live a given lifestyle without ever having done a day's fucking work in your entire miserable, pointless, pathetic fucking life. And no, I don't consider breaking into people's homes and stealing their shit to be any kind of work. Mr. Cameron said something that I agree with, and this is a guy who I disagree with a lot because of his attitude to this country and his insistence on taking away our rights and protections. But he said that burglary and other similar crimes was cowardly and pathetic. But this case demonstrates that you don't have to be intelligent, compassionate, or even fucking sane to be a judge. You just have to go to law school. Understandably, the victim of the vile, filthy, disgusting, sickening and evil sexual assault has called upon this morally vacuous and sick-headed judge to apologise for her remarks, because once again, if it wasn't her, it would have been some other unfortunate victim. And since when do we go around blaming the fucking victims of sexual assault for being assaulted? I thought that was strictly limited to countries like Saudi fucking Arabia. I'm not holding my breath for an apology, and even if that bitch apologised, she probably wouldn't be sincere. These people make me fucking sick and fucking angry. I'm not going to apologise for that, motherfuckers.